Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Photography Pubcast. This is season 4, episode 5. Don't they go quickly? This week there's 6 of us. Jamie's not here because he's at his son's graduation. I hope it goes well for you, Jamie. But we have a very special guest in his place, Mr. Adam Gibbs. How are you, Adam?
I'm very well. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
No, thank you for coming on. And I do believe you offered your services before we asked you, didn't you?
I did. I was looking at I was watching the podcast the other day, and you were short a couple of people, so I thought, I should get in touch with Darren because him and I had talked a couple of times, and then I realized it was 2 years. It was like 2 years ago since I was on last, I think.
Yeah.
So I thought, maybe I should get in touch and get on there again. Yeah. So thanks for having me.
How are you, Dave and Stu? How's your week been? Because you weren't here last week. So, Dave, Stu? Any news? His microphone's gone. Your mic's gone again.
I think I understood what he said, though.
Exactly. Yeah. We can't hear him, but yeah.
Hear me now?
Yes.
Hear me now.
Yep. Can you hear me now? I've been doing a lot of dog sitting, a lot of puppy sitting. I've forgotten how much work dogs are when they're puppies, because when I had a dog when I was young, I didn't have any of these responsibilities. So, yeah, I mean, bloody hell, newborns are easier work than dogs because at least they stop moving for a little while. And
Have you had a Labrador before?
No, we had.
Because you see, the problem is they don't grow up.
So I'm told. He doesn't. I mean, they all just chew everything at this age as well. So just everything's like, get it out your mouth, and
Sound like my wife.
Quite.
I meant with food.
See, I went exactly where Dave went there. A lot of dog sitting, but not much time for photography since coming back from Glen Africa. So a lot of dog.
Are they more work than cats? Dogs.
I've got 2 cats, and the cats are, I don't know. Harder work. I would say harder work.
Because we have 3 cats, and last night one of my cats pissed on my jacket. So it's up there drying. Bloody cat. I was just sitting there watching telly, and all of a sudden he looked at me and just pissed on my jacket. It was like sitting right next to me. What the hell?
Well, we had a cat. We had a cat once, and it got in the tumble dryer and shit all over the baby's clothes.
It was probably from fear with it going round and round and round and round at high speed, Daz. That's probably what it was. You can't blame it, can
probably. You? Yeah. I love cats.
You might actually need to wash it, Adam. I'm not sure just drying it's going to do
the trick. I did wash it, but it's hanging up to dry. Yeah. Stink a bit,
Apparently it used to be white, I heard. No, Stu, I was asking more if you had any news, Stu, any news? Have you got any news? Is there anything you want to tell us that's happened to you this week, Stu? I mean, anything you'd like to share?
Photography.
Honestly, needs an awful lot.
Yes. I had a couple of images in that.
See, this is the thing. He wins. He just wins so many awards now. He's the biggest highlight, really, is not winning awards. It's just like the puppy. Same with Adam.
You've got a guy next to me here.
Why? Once you win one,
Exactly. I mean, congratulations to Adam as well.
I had a couple of images in that international landscape photographer for the year. You won it a few years ago, didn't you, Adam?
I did. 2018.
Yeah. You did all right the year before as well.
The year before I was second. Yeah, I have entered it since, but I haven't done so well. I think one of the things with that contest, it did seem to change this year, but in the past couple of years, it's been very much a lot of Photoshop work and that's why I was really surprised actually that I won it that year, because a lot of the images have been so heavily manipulated that I thought, well, there's no chance, But it seems like they've kind of gone back a little bit this year.
I thought that. I took a look at this year's, they've got the draft of the book online. I was interested to see Stuart's. And what really struck me was there's so much ultra-wide angle work and so much drone work. And you see one or two with sort of standard lens focal length. But I thought it was interesting, Stuart, because your images were slightly more telephoto than most of the ones that seem to have made the book.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you, I only really entered it because of the kind of fiasco with El Potti, and the two images that have done well in it. I put them in because they hadn't basically got through in that other competition. But like Adam's saying there, it has a bit of a reputation. This is the first year I've entered it, and it does have a bit of a reputation for a lot of heavy processed stuff. So it's nice to see, a more natural landscape, get through in it. But like you said, David, I had a look at some of the images myself, and there's a few of them that you can see there's been a lot of processing work put into them, but there's also quite a lot of fairly natural stuff in there as well. And it's just a different thing, isn't it? Different approach, different judges, different sort of cultures, and all that sort of thing. So. So a couple of images in that.
Yeah, I noticed on the rules they pretty much said no AI work on the very start of the front page. So I guess they were getting to the point where they're probably getting a lot of images that were all AI, and
that's
at what
crazy,
point
isn't
is it at what point is it not photography anymore? I don't know.
Anyway. It's a good question. I was very disappointed. I had a little look through the thing at the lack of painted walls. I thought there'd be far more painted walls. There were very few. I was very disappointed. I stopped looking after that. I just gave up.
I do wonder whether maybe that's partly reflecting the beginnings of a change back to a more natural style of processing becoming more popular these days. I don't know, because I've noticed in the past of that competition as well, there's some very heavily processed images, but I wonder if things like the Natural Landscape Photography Awards as well are helping to move a bit of a shift back towards a more natural processing style becoming popular again.
I hope so.
Hope so.
Definitely.
It's quite kind of interesting though, because when there's us, we all interact with other photographers on a regular basis. I can't remember the last time anyone ever said to me, "Oh, I love images that have been processed to buggery." Not one person ever admits to that. Maybe they do, but they, most people seem to say, "Oh, I much prefer a natural look."
What I would say, just on this competition in particular, because as I say, it's the first time I've entered it, but I was talking to Neil Burnell offline, who I'm sure you all know, and say what you want about the processing, but what I will say is that if you put that to one side, the compositions are still very good. You can have your own view on processing, whether it's too far or not, but there was none of the images in that thing that jumped out at me as sort of, oh God, that's, the composition's not quite there, and I'm not quite sure what they've seen. They are still very, very good shots, regardless of whether the processing is to your taste or not. So that's in its favour. I think some competitions, we're talking about El Potti the other week, and you'll still see images in them that you'll go, bloody hell, how the hell's that gone in? At least with that competition, the compositions are still top quality, even if the processing isn't necessarily to your taste.
Yeah.
True. Okay, so that's how your week's been. What about you guys? What about you?
Well done, Stuart.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, well done. I mean, we did say well done on the dog. I'm talking well done on the dog.
That's the
There
bigger
you go.
achievement.
The photography podcast, the home of top class photography.
Yeah, the first time ever. What about you, Daz? Daz? I mean, is that your name? Can't remember. What about you, Daz? I'm sorry, I've had a really difficult afternoon. So if I look a bit flustered and everything's all over the place, You'll have to forgive me.
Business as usual.
Yeah, just like normal. I've just done a 3.5 hour drive around the M25 that should have been about an hour and a half. So I went through Uxbridge, which is nice. Anyway, what about you, Daz? How's your week been?
My week's been okay, but we've just had cottage pie and some Christmas cake and half a chocolate orange. And at the moment, I'm really trying not to have a heart attack. But apart from that, my week's been pretty much uneventful, if I'm honest with you.
No,
the sugars just kicked in, and I could just feel my heart starting to flutter.
Did I get back to you about the quote? No, no. Still not. No, no. Because someone was interested. They I think it was the Wall on here. Someone called the Wall. They put a comment in. What they actually said was, I would like to say thank you to Darren for his moan about a potential customer wasting his time with his quote. I do hope people who are not self-employed tradesmen take note as to what we have to do to pull a quote together, and for them to ignore or use it against the preferred tradesman. I'm sure customers think the quote price is set waiting for us on the net.
Well, as I say, I'm not going to go into it again, but I didn't even get to the quote stage. That was what was annoying. If I put a quote in and I lost it, that's fine. Didn't even get to the quote
enough of your
stage.
Moaning. We had enough of that last week. You banged on so much.
And I said I wasn't even going to moan last week, and now I've moaned twice about
shocking.
The same.
We're all sitting here being polite
Terrible.
and just being, not moaning at all, and you just kicked off last week. It was shockingly bad. It really wasn't acceptable.
So,
what kind of work do you do, Darren?
well, I'm a carpenter by trade, but any kind of internal refurbishments, really. I used to do extensions, but in the end, and even new builds, but now I just hate anything that's outside the envelope of the building. Oh. I don't like relying on other trades, like ground workers and bricklayers, and I don't like being weather dependent. So as long as it's inside the building, I'll pretty much take anything on.
Oh, well, we have lots of work for you here. Just come on over. Send me a quote.
I'll pop over, mate. So I'll send you a quote. Don't ignore it, though.
I'll get back to you.
and then when you're done with Adam, you can knock Stuart up a trophy cabinet.
Yeah. There's a shortage of timber, so we can't, I couldn't build one big enough.
Well, what about you, Sam? How's your week been?
I've not been up to much, to be honest. I wasn't feeling well earlier in the week, so I've not been out much. So fairly quiet week for me. Managed to edit a video though, so that's something which normally takes me 6 months to get around to doing. So that was quite productive.
Oh, that's good, excellent. And Adam, how's your 2 years been?
My 2 years?
Well, since we last saw you, if you want to fill us in, feel free.
Oh, it's been amazing. Yeah. This past year, a lot of traveling this year and last year. So it's been really great. The summer kind of sucked. On the island here, it was sunny all the way from mid-May all the way to September, which is very unusual for the island. So we've had a lot of fires and water shortages, all kinds of stuff going on. Yeah. I mean,
any photography awards that you want to speak of, Adam?
All right. Yeah. So the Natural Landscape Photography Awards. Yeah, I won I got third place and an honorable mention in the portfolio section. I mean, whenever I enter a contest, I go, it's all or nothing. So I just, because I'm in it to win, man. I don't care what other people say. Well, seriously, I mean, Nick, it was funny because Nick Page put on he had a story on Instagram about how he was against contests. I said, "He's just full of shit." He was just, basically, I mean, he was just sour grapes. He probably entered and didn't win anything. So,
all right, hang on, Adam. Hang on a sec, Adam. Let me. Oh, there's that name you just dropped. There you go. I'll just give it back to you.
No, I really enjoy entering contests, and I have done ever since I started photography. Especially when you win, it's great, I would have loved to have won first prize, but actually Blake Randall, he came on a workshop with me several years ago. The guy that won.
He's fantastic, isn't he? Really good.
Yeah, he's from Vancouver, and a lot of the images.
So it's all down to you then.
Pretty much. I mean, even like Blake won the International Landscape Photographer of the Year, the best image, and it's from an area that I went to a couple of years ago with my friend Jeremy, in the Rockies, where we photographed all those trees that were flooded out. And of course, since then, everybody's been going there. So there's been these awesome images coming from that area,
You like this, Stu?
Oh, what was that?
Sorry,
it wasn't me.
It was a dog.
Just sorting my flattering lighting out here.
No, but I do enjoy entering contests, and I think I get a lot of inspiration from seeing the winners. I mean, all the images from all these contests, the winners are just amazing, just incredible. There's so many great photographers out there, and most of them are amateurs, which is, inspiring for a lot of people that just do it as a part-time thing. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that I do it full time, so of course the odds of me getting a decent image are pretty high because I'm out there a lot more than a lot of other people. So of course, the more you're out there, the luckier you're going to get, right? If you're just out every other weekend, then it's very hard to come away with shots that you're going to really like or good conditions, So, anyway.
Very humble.
Very humble. I was just thinking back to the last competition I won. I was 9, I think. No, I was 9. It was a
slow bicycle race.
I drew a picture. It was called Our Friends in Greenland. I remember it really well. It was 2 Eskimos. It was like you remember collage? It was like a collage with little bits of fur around their hoods, and they were looking at each other and holding hands. 2 little Eskimos, and I won the regional competition for it was like Friends Around the World. It was called. Do you know what I think I won £30 in book vouchers. I was like, that's pretty good back then. And I come 3rd nationally. So
is that the last time you read a book?
No, I did read. I think I read Return of the Jedi when I was 11, but only because I like the pictures in the middle.
Gary, they're not called Eskimos anymore. They're Inuit.
Well, they were, but
it's Inuit. Eskimos is kind of
Is that? Anyway. Is that like a racist?
It's kind of the E word for people that
I don't know if it's racist,
the Arctic Circle.
I don't know if it's racist, but they're just known as Inuit.
I'm very sorry to any Inuits watching. I do.
We've got thousands listening.
Yeah. So if you are, or
we might do
get it right.
Yeah, well, you never know. So sorry. Yes. So it was 2 Inuits, and
went into a bar.
No, went into an igloo. Are they still called igloos? I hope so. God, this could be a minefield. Houses.
I think so.
Anyway, so that was the last thing I won. Anyway, what's the last thing you won, Daz?
Well, then you have to enter to win stuff, right?
Yeah.
It was probably when I was at school. Yeah, I don't win anything. No. Certainly not a photo competition anyway.
Did any of you enter the Hasselblad contest that just got announced? You should. It's free. Why not? Just enter it.
No, I don't know that one exists.
That's a pretty prestigious one. That one. I think they have it every 2 years. Yeah, you don't have to shoot on a Hasselblad. You can shoot with any camera.
I was going to say it'll be a small comp if it's only for Hasselblad users.
No.
Oh, I'll look into that. Since it's free, I might put some in, knowing that I won't get anywhere. What about you, Dave? Firstly, how's your last couple of weeks been? Secondly, okay, you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, mate. And secondly, what's the last thing you won?
Oh God, I don't know. Probably a camera club job 5 years ago.
You were in El Potty a couple of years ago, weren't you?
Oh yeah, you were.
Yeah, I flooded it with entries, according to Gary. I remortgaged my wife, and I put in about 500 entries and managed a highly commended out of it.
It was a great shot, that.
It was good, yeah, but more luck than judgment, as with a lot of these, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Talking of
so subjective, you know. I mean, it's so subjective. It really is.
Yeah, it is. As you'll see when it comes to us judging the photo competition, which is coming up. Entries are closed now. Well, they're not as we speak, but they will be by the time we go out. How many did we get, Dave? Or how many have we got so far?
We've got a perfect break at the moment, 147.
Oh, excellent.
Oh,
excellent. So I look forward to...
So how, I don't know if this is something that we talk about offline, but how are we judging this? Are we just judging first, second, third?
As per last year, we want your top five.
Top five.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right. Please.
Okay.
So what that means in layman's terms, Daz, is that you all pick similar, and then I pick 5 totally different ones because I never pick anything that you guys pick. Ever. I always pick different images, always.
In fact, can I just throw something out here? Because I think it might be quite nice, given we've got somebody with huge amount of experience. Why don't we invite Adam to be a sort of guest judge as well and join the panel of judging if he'd like to?
I was expecting that reaction.
That's the correct response.
No. There's some really good images.
Depends what it is. I might be away then. Give me some dates.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk about it offline. But so that's closed. What else have we got to talk about? I was going to go through a few comments, but there's so many comments that we've had. Firstly, I want to say thank you to everyone. The comments are really supportive of us because I had my little moan last week about the. Just ignore me when I moan. Seriously, like everyone else does. Just ignore it. It's just me getting off my chest. But the comments were lovely, really supportive, and it's nice to know that so many people appreciate the podcast, and we really appreciate you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that was good, and I just wanted to throw out a few names, really, just a few. These people, this is not an exhaustive list. It's just what I picked in the last sort of 2 or 3 minutes or before I came on air because I was in a bit of a rush. But Keith Radcliffe, Mark Dixon, Mandy Dean, Terry Carpenter, who apparently watches a lot, but this is the first time she's commented because she's a bit of an introvert. So thank you for taking the time to comment. Jeff Files, Lee Pelling, Paul Cooper, Sheila Foster-Hancock, Hugh Alban, Podgy Snapper, hello. Diane Vose, Neil Thacker, Ginger Captures, MH Photography, and Alan Coles. Thank you. We appreciate your comments. We notice them. They're on a lot. So we really want to say thank you for those. A couple of others, Dave Edmonds and Simon Erdley. Daz. Simon Erdley. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
He's the first time. Yeah.
Did he comment?
Watcher. So we watch your stuff.
He's
we love
brilliant.
it. So, well, me and Daz certainly do.
Yeah.
So can I just ask this nice lady who's admitted to being quite introverted, are you sure she'll want her name read out?
I'm sure she'll be happy. I'm sure she will. Yeah, I'm sure she will. And if you're not, let us know, and I'll cut it retrospectively. I can't do that, but let us know.
Is that the lady that lives at number 32 Whitby Court, Little Langdale?
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Red front door.
That's the one. That's the one. And I had another comment that I really wanted to read out because it made me laugh, and now I've lost it. You just carry on talking for a minute and pretend that
Well, I'll tell you what. Actually, I don't know. Simon would be a great person to get on here. Actually, he's not only a very talented wildlife photographer. He's a very talented whittler. Simon the Whittler. You want to see these timber kind of walking sticks and things that he makes. Yeah. Very clever.
Okay, I found the comment. Thanks for filling, Daz. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thanks for whittling on.
Yes, exactly. If you hear a bit of banging, it's Adam. He's having some work done, so just ignore it. Pretend it wasn't there. This is from Dennis Mook, right?
Unless there's someone in his basement.
It's not even a basement. It's a crawl space. It's about
it's
3
a
feet.
Hostage situation.
Has anyone seen anything from Gavin recently?
Who?
So Dennis he's drawn some inferences about each of us based upon our conversations, right? Are you ready for this? He said, David is the wise old owl. Okay.
True.
It says, Darren is Mr. Cool. Come on.
True. Stop
Sure
right there.
that.
Just me and Dave. That's enough.
Jamie is Mr. Practical. Mr. Six Fingers. Sam is the youngster working his way up, wanting to be like the rest of you.
Oh,
I can imagine you're desperate to be
I
like
don't know
that.
about that. Yeah.
Stuart is the cousin from far away who everyone is always happy to see.
That's mildly positive, I'll take that.
And then it says, Gary, what can I say about Gary? Gary needs a service animal to help him through the day.
That's about right.
Oh, that's comment of the year.
Thanks, Dennis. Appreciate that. So that was
What kind of help? What kind of service animal would you need? What are your kind of ailments? Do you
service
reckon?
pig.
What? So,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I mean.
what would you need?
Is there any kind of
we'll have a
animal
little think.
for
We'll
whinging?
Yeah, maybe something like a stress animal, an animal that I can squeeze really tightly every time I get wound up, like a hamster or a guinea pig or something. Yeah, and every time it lets out a little meep, I'll just feel a bit calmer. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where this conversation's going. It's better than last week's, to be fair. I mean, last week's moan was
marginally.
Marginally. So that's it really regarding those, and I think I might not have mentioned Gary Stone as well. So we didn't mention you, sorry, but we did have a comment from one of those that I mentioned this week, or may not have mentioned, Robin Grant, and I thought it was quite an interesting topic. So basically, he said, "I have a question that you may want to discuss, irrespective of genre. What single characteristic is the most important for a person to become a good photographer, say in the top 25% within their genre?" So if we just leave that to Adam and Stu to talk about, because we've got no clue, the rest of us, have we? Because we obviously don't know what it is. Yes, Daz?
Can I just get a beer?
Daz. You back now, Daz? Can
back
we
now,
get
mate.
on with a topic then? Yeah, is that all right? Okay.
Continue.
So, do I need to read it out again, or did you?
Yeah, I wasn't listening. I was thinking about beer.
For you, Daz.
Good plan.
From Robin Grant, he says, "I have a question. I'm sorry if you've already heard this, and I haven't cut it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. But if I have cut it, then ignore that. I have a question you may want to discuss. Irrespective of genre, what single characteristic is the most important for a person to become I'm doing it again, because it's in inverted commas, a good photographer, say within the top 25% within their genre? So what single characteristic? So who wants to start on that, Adam?
Sure. It's pretty simple, actually. I think it's more to do with not an interest in photography, but more of an interest in the actual subject matter. So if you're a fanatic about, I don't know, whatever, say trees, which is what I photograph, I think that if you are really interested in that subject matter, then that will really shine through in your photography. I've known quite a few people over the years that have got into photography, always chasing the killer shot. And a lot of those guys aren't around anymore because they just got so burnt out. They just weren't interested in what they were photographing. They were more interested in the photography. And I mean, speaking for myself, I'm actually more interested in what I'm photographing than the outcome of my photographs. And also, as sure most of you are the same, it's just getting out there and it's the experience of just being out there and witnessing these things rather than the photography itself. I think photography is just a good excuse to get out there and observe things, but that's where I stand on it anyway.
Yeah, that's
and time.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I was going to say
you need time.
Yeah, I was going to say perseverance. Just keep going at it, because not that I would know, because I'm not in the top 25, but if I were to think of something, it would be perseverance. Although I don't think there's just one single characteristic. There's a number. But if you like you say, if you think you're going to like just get the killer shot first time you go out, or you're not going to be prepared to put the hours in, you're probably not going to get to that. The same with everything, isn't it? With everything in life, unless you strike it lucky, you might get a one-off. But to be consistently good, you've got to go out and keep practicing and keep honing your craft. So I guess that's what I would say.
But to be consistently good, to echo what Adam was saying, I'm sure the people that haven't spoken will say the same thing. But you've got to enjoy what you're doing.
Precisely.
You've got. We all shoot landscape photography, so you've got to enjoy actually being outside. If, as you just said, if you're just going out to get that photo, whatever it may be, and then coming home again, it's not going to last.
And also
long.
Consistency. I mean, talking as someone that makes a living from photography, I've been doing it for a long time now. I mean, after 30 years, I should be good. I mean, it's like if you're a plumber or electrician or a carpenter. I mean, if you've been doing it long enough, I mean, a lot of those things should be becoming second nature. I mean, a lot of those things you don't even think about anymore. So, like Darren, I mean, I don't know how long you've been doing what you're doing, but I'm sure you're good at it. And it's yeah, I'm sure you're consistent with what you come up with, and it's no different with photography. Like I said, if I was doing it just every other weekend, then I definitely wouldn't be as proficient as I am now.
Yeah, no, that's just true. Yeah.
Dave?
Well, I suppose if you went round us all, we'd probably all, to quite a large degree, concur with Adam, and certainly as Darren's outlined, that enthusiasm for whatever it is. But I would kind of add something to it, because I think Robin's question kind of does lend itself to us all ending up with the same answer. But I think that you might find it's helpful, in addition to having a passion for whatever it is you're pointing your camera at, to be looking at what other people have pointed at, have achieved by pointing their camera at the same sort of thing. One thing when I'm working with people, when I say to them, who interests you, whose work do you enjoy? And I've said this before, if you say to somebody, well, who's your favorite band? What's your favorite musician? People will reel off a list of names without giving it a thought. They know straight away. You talk to photographers, who influences you? Whose work do you enjoy? And very often it's just tumbleweed. They actually don't really look at their subject material. And I think that I would say to people, have a look around at what's out there. Find something to aspire to that's in the genre that you're interested in, whether it's sports, portrait, landscapes, doesn't matter what. But have some benchmarks to work towards, because without that, how do you know how you're doing? We talked previously about landscapes, honeypots, that they give people a benchmark when they're just getting going. But I think that, it's interesting, because we were talking earlier about Stuart doing well in the International Landscape Photographer of the Year this year. As soon as the draft book is available online, I'm all over it. I've already been through it half a dozen times to have a look at what other people are up to get some ideas, to marvel at the quality of the work. I skip past Stuart. Obviously, I've seen it before. It's quite derivative, but no. But seriously, I've got quite a big library of photo books, and some of the ones that I really like are things like the International Landscape Photographer of the Year books and Natural Landscape Photography Awards books. There's so much inspiration to be had in there. There you go. as a landscape photographer. And if I was interested in other genres, I mean, Gary's mentioned in the past, who's that photographer who shoots in red and blue a lot? I sent you the book. That street photographer. Joshua Jackson.
Oh, yeah, so if you, I like his stuff.
If you're into street work, there's an example. And of course, you can go back and look at the classics like Robert Doisneau and Cartier-Bresson. But find something that you can use to inspire you and encourage you. And, you know, Adam has got top slot in terms of the answer. I'm just supporting it.
No, I fully agree. I mean, I still buy books off my fellow, like I don't know how many books I've got now. The problem with books now is they're getting so expensive. But yeah, I mean, I have probably 200 or so books. But I mean, when I first started, that's all I ever did was just look at other people's works just to get inspired. But now, of course, we have the internet, so you don't even have to buy books. You can just go online, and there's so much great stuff to inspire you and find something different to what you're photographing. And
that's it. I mean, the IL Potty, they issue the book every year as a PDF, so I've just downloaded them. I haven't spent any money on buying them.
Yeah.
Sorry, Stuart. You're not on a cut, are you?
I don't.
Well, I just ordered.
Go on.
Sorry, go on,
no,
Stuart.
No, I was good. Sorry.
No, I just ordered the first and second edition of the National. What was it? The National Natural Landscape. Sorry. And then obviously the third book's just come out, and I just got an email the other day saying if you want to buy all 3 books, you get a good as a bundle price. I should have just waited that extra month before buying these 2, because I think it was about $70. What does that work out to? About 60 quid, 55 quid.
Is that Canadian
but
or
I will
US?
get it though, because these books are top quality.
I can't read that though. I can't read that. Because, I looked at when we went to Wales.
Stuart, you can't be trusted.
I did stain it, didn't I, Stuart? I'm sorry about that. No.
Yeah.
Were you quite excited about
Not
it?
in that way. I think it was with some beer.
Just
or
like
something.
my image was that good.
Yeah. No, I looked at it and I was just like, I give up. It's all so good. I'm never going to get to that. So I gave up for 6 months. So yeah, books are dangerous.
Really? Really?
I did. Yeah, I didn't give up, but there was a number of factors, not just that. But I just looked at that work and thought, wow, this is all just so good. I think I just had feelings of inadequacy, But yeah, I guess that you should really. I did appreciate it, and you should appreciate it for what it is. But yeah, it just made me feel like I'm so far away from that level, which is probably a bit about me, really. Well, a lot about me, as much as it is about anything else. But
you have to realize. But you have to realize this is the best of the best.
Exactly.
And for anybody to come up with that amount of great work is virtually impossible. I mean,
that's a really good point. You wouldn't say, I'm not playing Sunday League because I'm not Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
You'd still play Sunday League, wouldn't you? Yeah. I mean, I'm just comparing where your photography is compared to.
I know. I did notice that, Dave. I was going to say, hang on a minute.
Gary's playing walking football for the Dog and Duck. No, but I know we've gone off road now, but I think, you as long as you enjoy your photography as well.
Precisely.
Apart from these 2 guys here, us 4 are not going to make our full-time living.
I hate photography.
From photography.
I hate it with a passion.
so as long as you enjoy what you're doing,
I do very much enjoy it. I do very much enjoy photography, but you do aspire to improve. Otherwise, why are you doing it? Because the pleasure you get out of the photography, you still want to improve yourself as a photographer. And I think the problem is I was looking at my own work in a bit of an echo chamber, or perhaps judging it against other people that I'm in a circle with and thinking, oh yeah, do you know what? It's not too bad. And so you get kind of an idea about where you feel you are as a photographer. And then I looked at that and went, Jesus Christ, I'm like, shockingly bad compared to these photos. And you're right, it is the best of the best, and so you shouldn't really be having that sort of much self-criticism, because it's you've got to be very good to get in that book. But it's still.
But I think we all go through that. I mean, everybody goes through. I mean, even like I often, sometimes I look at my own photography and think, oh, this is just shit. I mean, I don't look at my photographs and go, oh, aren't I awesome?
No.
But sometimes I look at my own images and think, oh, these are really good. And other times I might be in a different mood and think, oh, this is just terrible. You want to throw everything away.
Yeah.
But I think we all go through that.
Yeah. No, I agree.
It wouldn't be normal if you didn't.
No, that's right. And I just think that I was at that point, and there's a lot of other things around it as well that were sort of making me a bit disenchanted. But that book was kind of the straw that the straw that broke the camel's back, and I just went, oh, I'm just going to have a break for a little while.
Perhaps you could just do your own little pop-up book or something, Gal. Couldn't you really? Like take a picture of the Eiffel Tower or something.
There's a tree.
Oh,
there's a tree.
Yeah, here comes a tree. Yeah. Oh, it's a bridge.
Oh, here's my service animal. I don't know.
But I do think it's important to take a bit of a break every now and then anyway. I mean, this past summer, one of the reasons why I didn't do many videos was because I just took the whole summer off. I didn't do any photography. I just had enough. I didn't want to do it. Go and do something else for a while.
Yeah, I think that's part of it as well. I was like I said, I looked at that book. When was that? When did we meet? At March, April. So, and then sort of you're getting into cricket season, and I play a bit of cricket, but also I was doing groundwork as well. So I was the groundsman last year, which kind of took away. I was very focused on that, and then started playing a bit of walking football dads for the dog and duck.
I could just see the grounds at his cricket club with the lines being all wobbly and the stripes on the pitch
horizons
being all over the shop.
Yeah. The trouble was, what happened was that, you know what happened, Dave? I was happily, doing my ground and everything was fine. And then I watched the test match and saw Lords and went, oh, I'm never going to be able to make a pitch like that. So I gave it up.
So I come on, we haven't heard from Stuart or Sam yet.
We've got off on
I'm
tangent.
interested.
Yeah, go on, Sam. You go next.
Well, I don't know if I can really add anything else that hasn't already been said, and it's actually, I guess it's
okay, brilliant.
Similar...
Let's move on to Stuart then.
Well, I was going to say it's a very similar conversation to the one we had with Mark a couple of weeks ago as well, and I think it's just having that passion for whatever it is that you photograph, so whether that's landscapes or street or whatever genre it is. So, as a landscape photographer, it has always been the landscape that comes first. And if I go out, and I think I said this recently in a recent video, if I go out and photograph to do photography, it's actually, the photography is actually usually secondary to me, to just being out there and enjoying the landscape. And if you come away with some good photographs, then great, and if you don't, then you don't beat yourself up about it, because you've gone out and you've been experiencing the landscape. So it's just having that passion for whatever subject it is that you are photographing, and I think that's probably the main thing. There's plenty of other aspects to it, but that's probably the most important thing, because if you've got that passion to begin with, then you'll be consistent and you'll keep doing it.
Interesting, nobody said you've got to have the latest gear and you've got to compare this lens with that lens, and yet they're the videos that get all the views. Makes no sense.
No, but that's because people first coming into photography think that's important, and that's perpetuated by camera manufacturers and influencers, isn't it? So Stuart.
I think it's just people that buy gear and then they want to see what people are saying about it. Whether it's shit or not. and then you might buy a Nikon or something, and someone says something nasty about it, and they'll start writing nasty comments. How dare you say that about my camera?
It is true, though. It's quite tribal, isn't it, really? Especially between Canon and Nikon.
No, look at Canon. I mean, really.
So,
why would anybody buy a Canon? I mean, really.
Well, good job Jamie's not here.
Jamie shoots Nikon now.
I think I'm the only Canon shooter.
Of course he does, yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Oh.
Yeah, you are now.
Yeah.
Get
Sorry,
off, Sam.
guys.
Get out.
Terrible.
Okay.
Terrible.
Go on, Stu. What about you? You finish off with the award winner here.
Christ, I think you've covered most of it, to be honest. I mean, the passion thing, yeah, undoubtedly the most important thing. I mean, I think I said similar on a couple of podcasts ago that, like, you see so many photographers who just kind of give up after a few years because, like Adam was saying, they're chasing that one shot, and once that kind of excitement of the chase of the shot wears off, there's nothing left after it. You know what I mean? If you haven't got that, I mean, in our case, the landscape, if you haven't got that love of the landscape, then, that dopamine hit that you get from chasing shots isn't going to, sustain you for very long. So definitely that most important thing. I think you've got to be curious. I think you've got to be open to different ideas, different inspirations. I think you've got to be open to sometimes a little bit of critique. I think a lot of photographers sometimes are maybe a bit too inward looking, in that not being open ties in a little bit with being open to influence, but also you've got to have that awareness of, can I strive to improve? We're talking about books and stuff and seeing much better work that you think you're never going to get to, but it's good to have those things to aspire to. And all of the stuff that you're talking about, it all kind of ties in. There isn't any sort of one silver bullet answer to any of that, but I think the most important things haven't that the passion. I think
you make a really interesting point about critique, especially as it hasn't come up yet this evening. And I think that, I've got an image that's actually in my portfolio where somebody looked at it and said, hey, if you crop it this way, it'll be a much better image. And I tried it, and they were absolutely right. Now, if I'd have got all arsey about it, how very dare you suggest I crop the top third off my image? But they couldn't have been more right. And to this day, I look at it and think, wow, that is a really nice image. Why didn't I see that at the outset? And I think that being open to feedback. I don't like the word critique. I think it is too close to criticism.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, totally. I know that's just the accepted terminology. Yeah. But if you're open to feedback and you receive it with an open mind and try it, look at it, give it some thought, I think that you can learn a lot from that. And I most certainly wouldn't be offended if anybody gives me some feedback, as long as I invited it in the first place.
Can I throw something in as well, though? We've all talked about passion, love for what you're doing, perseverance, but is there something more technical as well? Because I think that there are people out there who love what they do and are very passionate about it, but still can't produce that photo. So is there something technical? Are we missing something as well where there's some technical characteristic that we all have that helps? Because we all know there are some people who really love photography and who really love their subject and love going out, but they're not going to make a good photo. Or do we? Or am I just making that up? Because I feel like
no, I agree with what you're saying. It's like everything, really. I know, like we were joking about, like the football analogy, but there is levels to everything in life, and there is levels to photography. And some people will never get to that top kind of 10%. Me being one of them. I think you've got to have not natural ability. It's almost like being an artist, where you can actually. You've got a blank canvas and you can see the color palette in front of you. You know what you're going to do. I think a lot of that is to do with like processing as well. And I think the top photographers will know how to process, be like fairly subtle, or and that is something that I struggle with. I really do. I really struggle with processing. I doubt myself all the time. I look at it and I'm never convinced that I've got it right. And I think that separates what what the average photographer from the top guys is, the visualization of what they're seeing on the camera, and then what they produce on screen.
But I think just to sort of add to that, Darren, I think to some extent it also depends what your own aims are with your photography, and what, I guess, to continue with the analogy of an artist, you've got the artists who technically can paint very well and can paint a very technically brilliant picture, and then you have an artist who'll put a blue panel up on the wall and it'll be in the Tate Modern. So I guess it's you've got the kind of technical side of photography, but there's also a big subjective side to it as well. And I guess maybe part of the success, I don't know, because I'm obviously not a super award-winning photographer, but there is that subjective element, which probably depends partly on what it is you're trying to achieve with your photographs and what it is you're trying to say to them. So for me, a very minimalist photograph that's very simple can be absolutely stunning, and I'd much prefer that over, say, a very heavily processed photograph of a stretched mountain with a flower in the foreground that looks like it's had an auto effect spewed all over it. And yet some people would appreciate one and not the other, and then the single photograph of a tree in a mist is probably not technically difficult to do. So it's not necessarily having a technical side to things, it's more having an eye for a certain type of composition and understanding what it is that you want to achieve with it.
I think you're absolutely spot on, Sam, but I would also say, and I'd be willing to bet that anybody here who's worked with other photographers that have, paid cold hard cash to come and do some time with us, very often you have people that actually understand what you've just described, Sam, but struggle to achieve it from a technical perspective. How many times have you worked with somebody who really is struggling with their camera from some really basic fundamental aspects, and you kind of think to yourself, if only you could get past the technicalities, you could realize the vision that you have. So I think Gary makes a good point that your toolbox should be absolutely second nature. And if you haven't made the effort to understand it, to have that muscle memory, to not be dicking about in menus trying to find some obscure setting, it then won't distract you from what it is you're trying to achieve, and it will help you immensely to spend the time with the sort of aspects that you're talking about, Sam, because I've worked with people who very much understood what they were trying to achieve and were, from a really first principles fundamental level, struggling to get even close to achieving it because they just didn't really understand the equipment they had in front of them.
I mean, that's why cell phones are so popular, right? Because you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you taken a shot with your cell phone and you think to yourself, why am I even bothering with my camera? Everything's really well exposed and looks great. You go, good enough.
Yeah, I haven't got a cell phone. I've got a mobile. Is that similar?
Mobile? What, a flip one? Or one of those big chunky ones.
Yeah. He plays
winds up on the back
on it.
Hello?
Play Snake.
Yeah. Oh dear. Okay, so I hope that's answered your question, Robin. Feel free to drop other ones in. It was a good question. It's a good question, I thought. Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on to another topic now. And this one, I think this is quite a good one. Was this your suggestion, Daz?
Probably.
Well, it's quite a good one.
It was mine.
Was it?
No, it wasn't.
I was going to say I didn't think it was Daz's because it was quite a good suggestion. Yeah,
shocking.
So basically, Stu, you can introduce this one, mate.
Oh, right, okay. Because it's the end of the year, I thought we'll have a look back on your images and pick a favourite one that you've taken, and then a favourite one of another photographer, not in this group, obviously, just to sort of keep it fair.
Not in this group.
That's not in this group.
You didn't say that. You didn't say that earlier.
We did.
What? Not in this group?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Shit.
Because otherwise we were all going to pick on the stews.
Well, I have.
Yeah. Snap.
Oh well,
Right.
yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. We'll just pretend that it's from someone else. We'll just call him. I don't know.
We definitely had that conversation, didn't we?
Yeah,
we
Stephen
I
McDonald
wasn't
or
there.
something. I wasn't. I probably didn't read it properly. I've got a habit of doing that, haven't I, Dad? It's not reading the question properly. So, yeah, don't worry. We'll be fine. We'll gloss over the fact that most of us are picked Stuart. Okay, so seeing as it was your idea, why don't you go first?
Yeah, this is my favourite shot I've taken this year. Although I did take one in Glen Affric the other week that runs this one very close. But yeah, this was taken in Leforton back in March, and it was one that myself and Greg, who was on the trip with me, we kind of just spied this tree, just driving around aimlessly. Basically, we kind of wanted to get away from all the sort of usual haunts that people shoot in Leforton. And anyway, we saw this tree and thought, I mean, the first time we shot it, we had pretty good conditions, but we thought if we can come back when there's a proper blizzard going, it might improve it. And fortunately, we had absolutely, blinding weather for this sort of thing. It just snowed constantly for the entire trip. So we came back a couple of days later and we got this, there was 3 of us shooting this scene. So we've all kind of got slight variations on the same shot. But yeah, this was my favourite shot, basically.
You've got that in the gallery, Stu, haven't you?
I have, yeah, and I can't sell it. I can't sell it at all. I'm determined to keep it there until it sells. But we've had this discussion before about what sells and what doesn't. But yeah, anyway, it's a very simple image, but it kind of reflected our trip in a nutshell, basically, which was just constant blizzard conditions for about 9 or 10 days straight.
But if you just relabel it as something like Wastwater in the Snow, some mug will buy it.
I should try that, to be honest. I'm at that point now.
Stuart, can I ask you, are you sure you want to pick that one?
Gary's picked it.
I was close to that as well, Gary.
Right, shall I use the... No, I can use the other one. I can use the Glen Affric one.
You're fine. Leave that one. It's great. I personally think it's a fantastic shot. So yeah, it's fine. No, it's totally fine. You leave that one. Stuart.
I don't mind. I can take it.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
All right.
Totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So this was my favourite shot. Anyway, it wasn't particularly technical shot. It was more just. I mean, there was no time to shoot with tripods here. It was blowing a gale, so it was. Handheld, I think it was about ISO 800, something like that. And it was just a case of waiting for the spin. Because what you can't see in this shot is the spin drift that's behind the trees. There's the faintest amount of rooftops on houses. And we kind of needed that blizzard the spin drift to come across to obscure the house roofs. Otherwise, you'd see them. They're not very prominent, but you would see them without that. So, yeah, good bit of timing.
It's a fantastic image, Stuart.
It's beautiful, yeah.
Oh. Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah. No, it really is. Adam, why don't you go? What's your favourite image that you've taken this year?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, for
you picked that.
This is a very rare.
No, I didn't pick it, but I ain't going after them.
This is a very rare find in the Lake District. I don't think anybody's ever photographed this tree ever before.
It's nice.
No, this was River Brathay.
Brathy.
Yeah. Brathay. I think it's a very popular area with photographers. I think there was about 7 or 8 other photographers there that morning. And I met up with Henry Turner. We just spent the day with Henry. We had a good day with Henry. I was there with Paul, my friend Paul. And I'd actually photographed this oak the day before. And we decided to go back there because we heard the conditions were going to be pretty good. So we went back and I just redid a lot of the compositions. And this was one of them. Now, I should mention that I am cheating here. The fog in the corner, I've added. Just so
Okay.
Yeah. Because what I had, and I'll probably do a video on this. I had quite a bit of sky up in the corner there. I couldn't get rid of it. So one of the ways I try to get rid of that is just by adding more dehaze, except go the other way. So that has been added. So that might take away a bit from the image, but yeah, it was beautiful conditions, and it's a new image. So I thought I'd throw that one in.
That's lovely.
Nice.
Yeah, that is
very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Dad, do you want to go next?
I fucking knew you was going to do that. I just knew it.
Go on, Dad, what you got?
Right, so I'll tell you what, ignore everything that I said. Hopefully you've cut it out about sharing a pano. I am going to share these panos, actually, because they're kind of grouped together. This photo here, I think I've even mentioned it on the Pubcast before. Totally unexpected. This was our third location of the day. And as we kind of came along Crummock Water, I could just see obviously the reflections, and this was, we quickly parked the car at the bottom of Crummock and then kind of walked as fast as I could kind of back up the road before the wind picked up. The only thing I'm a bit disappointed with is, the definition on Fleetwood Pike and Haystacks. I wish it would have been, a little bit more defined. But I really liked this pano. This is probably the favourite out of the three. But when I went for a hike at Westwater, and it was quite late on, this was a good, I don't know, probably a couple of hours past sunrise. And again, as we kind of was just driving down Westwater, and again, the reflections were really nice. So I managed to kind of grab this shot, but I missed, probably the best light because I didn't go there for photography. I went there purely for the hike. And then I managed to get, which is a very well photographed shot, but of Bleed Tarn as well. So when I was in the lakes in May, I managed to get these three panos, all very still waters, and I've actually got these three at the moment being framed, and hopefully I'll get these back just after Christmas.
Beautiful.
So these were my, I'd say Crummock Water is probably my favourite out of the three, but yeah, so I'm quite pleased with what I got. All in one trip to the lakes back in May.
Nice.
Sorry, Stu, you said favourite shot, didn't you? You did say favourite shot, right? Didn't you? Yeah.
Cut me some slack here. I had to follow these two.
Yeah, that's true.
No, they're beautiful.
Do you know what I mean?
Lovely.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd be happy with those.
Yeah.
That last one, the little hill, is that Holmfell? Is that what that's called?
What Bleed
Tarn. Is that?
No, that is
Side Pike and Lingmoor, isn't it, on the right?
Lingmoor. That's Side Pike and Lingmoor.
I think we hiked up there. I think that's where we went for the afternoon. Beautiful up there.
Yeah, it is nice. It is nice.
Okay, Dave, let's see yours.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I wanted to choose this. I'm doing a Darren here. The reason I wanted to choose this is because I think that to some degree, as photographers, we tend to get a little bit fixated on the winning image. And it's easy to forget that sometimes you just want to remember a pleasant time out. And this was when we all went up Crimpiai. And this was shot when you and I, Gary, sort of went over the fence and through the bog and up onto that little hillock while these other boys were getting horribly lost.
Yeah, I remember that.
So to be fair, I like it as an image because I like all the diagonals in it and I like the light and I like the sky. But it isn't my favourite, but I wanted to chuck it in just to remind people to not forget to take pictures just for the hell of it and just to remember a good time. My picture that I'd like to say is my favourite of this year is this one. And the reason it's my favourite is that I used the excuse of demonstrating to a tuition client what composition he might be looking to go for in this light. And I pointed my camera at the sky and I had no time whatsoever to really think about it very much. And it was an unbelievably complex dynamic range, as you can imagine. And I was so chuffed when I got home and looked at the raw file and thought, I can do something with that. Because I thought it would be blown to buggery. And I'd hoped it wasn't, because it was the sort of light conditions that are once in a lifetime, especially at such an iconic location. And so that would be my photograph of the year, especially given that it's also probably the one location, if I was only ever allowed to pick one, would be the one I'd pick.
Fantastic.
Light's amazing.
Dave. That's beautiful.
Clouds. Yeah, wow.
It's quite interesting because I know a lot of photographers on the island, and these lighting conditions were seen all up and down the sort of southwestern coast, and there was people taking a similar shot at South Stack and at various other points along the coast. But mine was the only one with Tourmaur in it, so up yours, you lot.
Have you shared that, Dave? Because that's the first time I've ever seen that.
I like to play my cards close to my chest if I can. Of course, I shared the
that's
buggery out of it.
Yeah, I must have missed it, because that is an absolute cracker.
It's not.
I think I remember you taking that.
Yeah. But as
There
I
must
say,
have been a lot of moisture in the air, eh?
there was, yeah. It was absolutely jaw-dropping, and I was with this really, really nice lad. I don't know if he watches this, but shout out to Dave. And I grabbed the shot and showed him the back of my camera. Oh, you might like to think about something like this. And I'm thinking, well, I've got it. I've bloody got it. So there we are. That's that.
Lovely. Lovely. Right, Sam, you're next, mate. You're next.
Okay. I'll see if I can make my computer work. Hang on. Yeah, so I think probably my favourite shot of the year, I'm not going to do a Darren and show 3, but I think this is probably one of my favourites, if not my favourite. I think at this precise moment in time, this is probably my favourite. So this was Glen Affrick. And one of the things I like about this shot is I'd actually finished photography for the day when I did this. And I was on my way home and I stopped off and just pulled up in a lay-by for some lunch. And it turns out I think this is a pretty well photographed shot, but I didn't know that at the time. I just went for a wander with my camera. And what I like about it is that just out of shot to the left, there's a kayaker. And just to my right, about 10 meters away from me, is a whole family having a picnic and lunch. And this is about 12 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. And there's loads of people out here enjoying this loch. And it was just to stick the long lens on, zoom in on the tree and just zone all of that kind of noise and busyness out. And it's just quite a tranquil scene. And it was just when those leaves were at their peak autumn colours as well. So yeah, this is probably one of my favourite shots. And it's just handheld 200mm lens.
Beautiful.
Mm.
Lovely, Sam.
Nice.
Thank you.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we done. Yeah, that's a
big
fantastic. That's fantastic, mate. Really good.
Yeah.
Really beautiful. The
image,
light
that.
on that tree is amazing. Oh God, I can't follow these. I genuinely can't follow these.
Okay, so let's all look at our favourite picture from somebody
Yeah.
else this year.
No, seriously, let's. Okay, so let's do mine. We'll do mine very quickly. Sorry, we'll do mine very quickly. Where are you? I've lost you.
No, it's coming.
Oh, not
that's
it.
lovely. That is, mate.
Oh no, wait, no, sorry, that's not it. My mistake. No, sorry, I apologise. No,
What is
I
he
didn't
doing
mean-
with that hat?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't
That
mean
noddy.
that. Sorry, I
Noddy.
didn't mean
Looking
that
for his
one.
friend Big
I
Ears.
meant,
Noddy.
I meant this one.
God.
Sorry, that's the one I meant.
He's
Did you
just
see
hitting
that
the
one?
bell.
God. You've been planning
no.
that all week, haven't you?
Yeah. No, sorry, it's not that. Wait a minute. Let me actually find the one that I So I actually realised I hadn't taken that many images this year. So it's that one is the one that I just like the most, simply because it was just down the road from me.
That's clouds.
Yeah, exactly. It was the clouds that did it for me, really. I've taken so few images this year. I've hardly, I mean, from sort of May to late October, November, I've taken nothing. And that's literally, like I said, just 5 minutes down the road from me. So it doesn't compete with any of you guys, unfortunately, but it just means something to me because I've got I've got an image back in the bag which I haven't done for a long time. So that's it. That is my image. So I'll stop sharing that now. But
nice
so Gary, have you just not had enough time to go, or?
I just haven't had the inclination, Adam. I just like I said before, I was a little
inspired.
a little bit uninspired, a little bit sort of self-doubting, and also I've struggled to get to any locations recently. So I've been taking a lot of local images, and I just sort of honing your skills locally has really been what I've been doing lately. So yeah.
Well, look, Gal, I don't know. I've got a date. I'll share it with you when we stop recording. But I've got a date in January that I'm going to hopefully head to the lakes. I'll give you the dates, and if you fancy coming, then I'll pick you up. Won't cost you a penny. Well, you have to sleep in a tent, but it won't cost you anything in petrol or anything like that. I'll pick you up, and we'll go up there together.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll have a chat. We'll have a chat. Yeah, cool. Yeah, thank you. That's it. So I'll tell you what we'll do now is we'll very quickly where are we at? We're doing quite a long way through. We'll very quickly go through everyone's favourite image from everyone else, and seeing as I was, let's do it in reverse order. Since I was last, I'll go first this time. You probably haven't seen this one before. But this is my favourite image from someone else this year. Do you anyone recognise that one? I don't know. You probably haven't seen that one before.
That's a different version of it.
That's a different version of it.
Yeah, it's a different version of it.
Yes. No, I pulled it. To be honest with you, it may be that yours was the one that I was looking at, but I just found this one on Twitter, and the reason that I picked it,
it's the same thing.
Yeah, is that it just, when you showed it, I remember you talking about your Lofoten trip and a few images. You had a few images, and there were so many really good ones from that trip. I felt that you'd taken. There was a little minimal one that you said you'd taken by the side of a road. Do you remember that one? That was another one that really stuck out to me as well.
Like a little curve. Right.
Yeah, but this was, for me, the best image I've seen this year. But I will say, and we'll talk about it in a few weeks' time, there's an image that has come through on the competition that is really close to my favourite image this year. And I don't think you guys are going to pick it, but I love it. I absolutely love it. And it comes very close to us. No, it's not Shingle Street. No, unfortunately not. No, it isn't. It's an amazing. I won't even say anything about it because I don't want to give it away. But it's so moody. I love it. I absolutely love it. But this is my favourite. But that did come a very close second. So yeah, well done, Stu, mate. I mean, and actually, while we're at it, there's a couple as well of images that Dave Fieldhouse shared on Twitter, but I couldn't find them, which were from Japan. He was out in Japan taking some images, like street images, and a couple of those were really fantastic as well. But I say I couldn't find them. I just didn't have enough time to look through Twitter to get them. But this is my favourite of the year, definitely. So
that one in the comp is probably the one that I slipped in of mine without telling anybody.
Oh, do you reckon?
Almost certainly.
Okay. I don't know how you talked her into it, Dave. I really don't. Anyway. You can go now. Actually, we're going to the same problem, aren't we? You can go now, Sam. Okay. Let's see yours that you'll need to send to me.
All right. Oh yeah. So this is probably my choice from a different photographer. And actually, to be fair, when we first announced it, my first choice was for one from Stuart, which Stuart shared. But I thought we might have a rule where we weren't going to be picking photographs from other photographers on the Pubcast. So anyway, I've chosen this one, which is by a guy called Enrico Curti, I believe. And this was one which actually came up in the International Landscape Photographer of the Year awards as well, and it really stood out. There are loads of great photos in that competition, and there are probably 3 or 4, in addition to Stu's, obviously, that really stood out to me, and this was one of them. And yeah, I really like this image. Just stunning composition, beautiful color palette. Yeah, this is right up my street, this kind of photograph.
Yeah, I agree.
Bleak.
Lovely. Yeah, bleak. Yeah, good. Yeah. No, it is very good.
No,
very
just
very
get
good.
it.
Good choice, Sam.
Yeah. Actually, thinking about it, there was one that I really liked out of the Natural Landscape Awards, which I didn't mention, which was where you had a load of trees covered in snow that made them look a bit like lollipops. Anyone remember that one?
Yeah,
okay, moving on. It's you now, Dave.
I remember it going.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah, that's the one where the Stu's version of the book has got the pages stuck together, isn't it?
It's in that bit, yeah.
Okay, so my favourite photograph this year from somebody other than myself has got to be this, because I think it's pretty spectacular.
Yes.
I can see why you've gone for that, Dave. It's the symmetry, isn't it? It's
Top
really
compositional skills.
Leading lines. But
yeah.
if I had to be genuine, it's this one.
Oh, right.
And the reason I picked this, no idea who took it.
Who took this?
Some bloke from up north.
Okay.
But it really, for me, is when I look at an image, if I keep coming back to it and think, if that was on my wall, would I get bored of it? Because that is the acid test for any photograph, I think. How long could you look at it before you fed up with it? And I've come back to this many times this year. And interestingly, when I was heading out to Lofoten in September, knowing that I wouldn't get this sort of conditions, I made what I considered for my trip to be a definitive shot. And it's not a dissimilar composition. There's a central rock in my image, and to be honest, it's not a patch on this, and I get bored in 10 minutes if I put that on the wall. I just love this image. I love everything about it, and I think that expansive foreground as well works beautifully, because those lovely sweeping tones in the foreground add to it beautifully. And you've still got the whole representation of the area, because you've got those mountains in the shot, even though they don't draw your eye, they just frame the central feature. I love the palette. I just think it's a brilliant piece of work. I'd love to know who took it. I haven't been able to find out. So if anybody knows, write in and let us know. So thank you very much, whoever took that.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. So.
I will leave it there.
Yeah.
Adam's going to think I've paid you a lot.
Yeah. No. Look. Honestly, I think Dave will agree. We both didn't read what it actually said, did we, Dave? Let's be honest. But to be honest with you, we both. I certainly, that was my favourite shot of the year that you took. So I'm not going to lie about it, and I'm sure, Dave, you're the same. It's not,
Yeah, I mean, my choice is obviously better because I'm a better photographer.
I was going to say, stop blowing smoke up my arse, Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Daz.
Stuart's head is slowly getting bigger.
I was going to say...
Well, to be honest with you, mate, the smoke's not
those stripes are moving further apart.
You may want to go and just grab a beer now because it's turning into a bit. But do you know what? It's almost. So I read it. I read what we put or what Stuart put in the group. It can't be one of us. Now
I did put that
straight away. I was going to pick a photo of Stuart's.
There are other photographers. Right? Jesus Christ!
No, so other photographers are available.
I was going to pick.
Adam's just sat there
I've got
thinking,
an image in
hang on,
mind.
what about my pictures?
What the hell? What have I signed up for here?
I don't actually care.
Adam, which one of Stuart's photos do you love?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Actually, he had one in his gallery that I really loved. The one I don't know where it was. Lothric Fell, maybe Pano.
Oh God,
I think it's I think it's just displayed in your shop there. That was never opened whenever I went through there.
I know.
Sorry, go on, Daz.
Please
Go
pick
on.
another picture.
Yeah, what's yours, Daz? Go on.
No, so I was going to pick a photo of Stuart's, and then I kind of read the rules, and I started looking at other photographers' work. And don't get me wrong, there was some great photos out there, but I didn't have the connection with this particular photo, and I just thought, oh, do you know what? I am going to pick one of Stuart's. I'm going to pick the photo that and it's not even this year's. I think it was from a couple of years ago, possibly, that Stuart took this photo, but I only saw it this year. Now, Stu, I've not even got going yet, right? So I got my phone out today because I thought, right, I saw it on one of Stuart's videos, but he's bound to have it on Twitter. So I picked up the phone looking for this photo, and I'm scrolling through Stuart's Twitter feed, and I just thought, keeper. Oh, that one's shit. Oh, that's of Anfield. Keeper. And then I did. So I know we are blowing smoke, but I tell you what, there ain't many better photographers out there. I don't think there's Stuart.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Well, I'm only saying what I think because, mate, your body of work is a bit like Gary. It just makes you want to throw your camera away sometimes. Anyway, this photo I'm going to share, Stu, I'll be really interested to find out.
This is the worst segment ever.
Where you rank it, and I bet you don't rank this photo very hard. Well, you choose, but so that image there, I just think that is beautiful. That image, I really do. But where would you rank that, Stu? Out of all your images, roughly, out of 100 images that you've taken, where would you rank that?
Oh, you want me to say very highly, don't you?
No, I thought that you would. I thought you would rank it a lot lower than your other images. But for me, that stood out, and I just think that's a cracking image. That.
No, I like the image. I wouldn't have took it otherwise. I've actually got a bit of regret about that image because it's actually a single crop out of a single frame. Because I took that shot a few years ago, and it was a bit of an afterthought almost. It was one of those where you take some shots and you go, oh, I'm not sure about this, but I'll take the shot anyway. Took the shot and then got home and thought, oh shit, there's a good panorama there. I really wish I'd shot it as a pano sweep. And those conditions in this country now are quite rare to have like a proper frost going in the middle of autumn. So yeah, it's one I really like, but I've got a lot of regret about because I didn't shoot it as a panoramic. So I can only print it so big without it starting to, it's right on the edge of, if I print it any more than like a meter wide, it loses a bit of quality. But yeah,
well, that one really jumped out for me, and I just thought that was superb. But I think you got to take the credit where it's due, mate. Because
Christ, pick one of Adam's. He's the freaking guest here.
Three of us has.
Nobody talks about my photography. I'd rather talk about someone else's photography, to be honest.
I'd rather talk about someone else's photography.
And before we move on, if you guys have got a favourite image of Stuart's, then you want to put in the comments below. Please
I'll look through his catalogue.
Yeah, next week we'll discuss your favourite images that Stuart's taken.
We'll look through Stuart's amazing catalogue of images.
Oh dear. So who are we down? I think Adam, you're next. I think so. You've sent me yours, haven't you? So I will just put yours up.
Ooh.
Now this is photographer Eric Bennett. I'm sure I don't know if many of you follow Eric, American photographer.
I do.
Of course, I follow a lot of North American photographers, is where you guys probably follow more European photographers. But Eric, I've met Eric. He's a really cool guy. The composition just really stood out to me, because this could be an image taken anywhere. So for people that might be struggling in your local area, obviously this is by the ocean, but I think if you start to look at more close-ups or medium views, then you probably have more chance of coming home with something that you really like. Because I know a lot of people that watch these videos, they live in areas that aren't conducive to amazing landscapes and all these amazing places that we travel to. So that's why I picked this one. And the composition is amazing. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's
the
lovely.
Colors, everything about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely. I mean, it's good, Adam, but it's no McLennan, is it?
It isn't really, is it? A bit of a letdown, really.
What is? Let's be honest. What is?
What is these days?
Jesus. No, it's a brilliant shot.
I'm
Brilliant
loving
shot.
this. This is great, by the way, because Stuart's just shrinking in his chair the more we speak. Right, go on, Stuart. Last one. Which one of yours are you going to put for your favourite from someone else?
He's going to pick one of his own as well.
Mine and mine.
Under a pseudonym.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus
This
Christ.
is Sarah McGlennon.
She's Glenn McStewart.
Right.
Well, you're very humble, Stuart. I mean, I love it when people talk about my photography,
Right. Christ. I mean, I could have picked out any number of images. There's so many good images out there these days. And Adam was saying about Eric Bennett there. I follow his work quite a lot. And I could have picked a lot of his images as well. But I thought I'd give Kenny Muir a shout here, because we were just saying offline before about the trip I'd had to Glen Affric, and we'd met a local photographer there. This is Kenny. I think he had a highly commended portfolio in natural landscapes this year. Yeah. And I assume this is Glen Affric. He shoots a lot of stuff around there, because I think he lives about 3/4 an hour away. And this was one that stood out for. I mean, you see a lot of these type of shots with mist burning off through tall trees, and they're all lovely. The thing that, well, I'm sure probably you've all picked up on looking at that, is the little sort of spindly tree with the kink in it, sort of upper right. That's really lifts it. And also it's black and white as well. You'll see a lot of these that people still keep them colour, but I think the black and white look works brilliantly on this. So Kenny's got an absolutely fantastic body of work from that area. So I'd recommend anyone going and having a look at his work. Kenny Muir is his name. But this was my shot, a favourite shot of another photographer.
It's weird. I don't see that as black and white. I see that as.
It is.
I don't
see
think
that
it
as
is.
Oh, maybe his
colour.
colour.
Yeah, it's got a bit of
It might not be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
I see.
Okay.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if he converted it to black and white and then split toned it. But you're right. It probably is actually colour looking at it.
There's some green in that. I can see green in it.
in the shadows. Yeah.
I think that explains Stuart's skill, is that he's totally colourblind. That's why we love his work.
Yeah, probably. But fantastic image. And
It's a great shot. It's a great shot.
Yeah, good choice.
That was mine. Yeah.
Very, very good.
Okay.
Very good. And lots of very good images there from Stuart, and a few all right ones from some other people.
And for those of you listening on the podcast, tough shit.
Oh, you're loving it. Well, no, to be fair, actually, I was thinking about this. I was thinking about the podcast, and we, on Spotify, I upload a video podcast now. So if you can't get to watch it on YouTube, you could still watch it on Spotify. I'm not sure how it works, though. So, but if you've listened to it, I'm really sorry for the last 20 minutes. It's, what can I say? You should be watching. What can I say? It's not our fault. So I think what we'll do is we've been going for a while, but there's probably been about half an hour's worth of how does this work? Am I sharing yet? What's going on? So I think we'll finish with one last topic, and I'm not going to finish with that one that we were talking about. I'm going to finish with another one. A bit of a.
What was we
talking about? We'll do this next week. which is if you were no longer on the podcast, who would you want to replace you?
All right.
Okay, so we'll do that next week. I'm sure that's something you're all looking forward to. What? So what we'll do this week instead, what happened there? It's like, let me in. Stuart's fan club. I think what we'll do is...
they can't be, they're all here.
Instead of that, what we'll do is we'll have a last 15-minute discussion about why we all love Stuart. No, I'm just joking, Stuart. No, I thought maybe if you can have a think off the cuff of an embarrassing situation that you found yourself in. Not tonight, Stuart. Not tonight, but another time.
I was going to say this will do.
Yeah. So I'll tell you the reason that I'm going to mention this. I don't know why, but for some reason I was thinking about a gym class that I went to. What was I thinking about that? I can't remember. But anyway, and I thought I'd share it with you. And I thought if we could all think of an embarrassing situation, that'd be really good. So about 15 years ago now, there's this guy who used to come into so I used to work for the local council in finance, and in the evenings as a second job I used to work in an off license, and there used to be this guy who used to come into the off license. We used to call him Fit Tom, right? Because the reason we called him Fit Tom is because there was a Fit Tom and a Fat Tom. So that was how we differentiated them. Oh, who came in? Tom. Which one? Fit Tom. Oh, okay. Not Fat Tom. No, it wasn't Fat Tom. It was Fit Tom. Anyway, so this Tom came into it, and he said he kept saying to me, "Oh, you should come to a spin class." Now I was bigger then than I am now. You should come to a spin class, Gary. It'd be really good because you used to run these spin classes at the local gym. So I thought, not knowing anything about spin, I thought, oh yeah, that'll be all right. I'll give it a go. So I turned up at this spin class and got on one of the bikes, and I was like, well, what's going on here? You do that, but it doesn't freewheel. So it's like everything is like effort. I'm not sure about this. And there was this woman got on the bike next to me, and she went, "Oh, first time?" And I went, "Yeah." And she went, "Oh dear." And I was like, getting a bit worried about this now. So he comes in, he sits on, he looks at me, "All right?" I'm like, "Yeah, you're right." And like, right, off we go then. So he says, "Well, you can ratchet it up to like 6." And I was on about 1 at this point, going, "One's hard." Ratchet it up to 6. It's like, right, okay. Do about 10 minutes of this exercise, and I am dead. I am literally dead. My legs are killing me. He says, "Right, that's the warm-up over with." He said, "Right, now let's get into the main event." I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I had to fake an injury, right? I was like, sort of like a couple of minutes into the main event. "Oh, my knee, I'm really sorry, Tom. My knee's gone. I'm going to have to get off the bike." Got off the bike, and my legs just gave way, and I fell over onto the floor, and I literally had to crawl out of the class because I couldn't get back up because my legs were so shagged. So basically, I was just wondering if you guys had any experiences you wanted to share where you were as embarrassed as me on that.
No.
Well, I don't know if I've mentioned.
Yeah.
I've got more that are worse than that, Adam. To be honest with you, that's just a light one. But go on, Daz. What are you going to say?
Well, it's a very quick one, but I was working around this lady's house once, and fitting a kind of banister and a load of spindles, and then she said, would you like a sandwich?" And I said, "Oh yeah, that'd be lovely, thank you." So anyway, I carried on working, and then she just called me and said, "Oh, Darren, your sandwiches are on the table." I said, "Oh, thank you." And I kind of went into like the dining room bit, and there was this big plate of sandwiches, and I thought, "Oh, happy days. She knows I've got a big appetite." So I picked the sandwiches up, and then I went and sat in her internal garage. I sat on my toolbox with these sandwiches, and then I just heard the little kid go, "Mum, where's the sandwiches?" And she's saying, "They're on the bloody table." "No, they're not." And she's going, "Jesus Christ, they're big enough. Can't you sit?" And then it just went quiet. And then I realised I'd got the whole family's plate of sandwiches and crumbs down me. I didn't go back out. I was too embarrassed. She was obviously too embarrassed to come back into me. So it just went quiet, and she just made the family more sandwiches.
Oh, dear.
How embarrassing is that?
Brilliant. That's good.
So, yeah.
Anyone else?
Well, I have a story, but it's not my embarrassing moment. It's someone else's. Let's tell that.
Go for it.
I won't name names because this is really embarrassing. So there's a photographer I know. He was
Gavin.
No, it wasn't Gavin. So he's doing a workshop, but he's lactose intolerant, and they're out on this bus. They have a busload of people, and all of a sudden he had to go, like right there and then. He had to go. So they stopped the bus, and he just made it outside, and he just let loose, and he just got shit all over him. And they're out in the middle of nowhere. Anyway, he had to get back on the bus. And of course, nobody wanted to sit next to him. So here's this this Photoshop leader got shit all over him. Get back on the bus.
That reminds me a lot of something, Gary. I can't think what.
I don't know what you're talking about, Sam. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh dear. I'm not lactose intolerant. I'm just greedy. Yeah.
But
go on. Name names, Adam. Who was it? Go on.
No, I can't.
Do you know, I could see he was thinking about it then. For a second, he was thinking about it.
Yeah. No, I can't.
Anyone else? Go on. So come on, Dave. You've got to have an embarrassing story.
I have, but I couldn't possibly. It's too short notice. I didn't know we were doing this.
Yeah. Gary, just show that picture of my haircut. That'll do.
Well, yeah, you did. Yeah, I mean that's true. You did go out with that, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Sam, did you accidentally buy foie gras one time instead of the usual pate or something?
To be quite frank, it takes an awful lot to embarrass me. I don't get embarrassed very easily, but the only things that really sprung to mind when you mentioned it was. When I was in the band, we used to do some really bad gigs, and the worst one was so we used to get invited to come and do music festivals, and there were never very illustrious music festivals. And we were invited to do one up in North London, which was being put on by a pub, and it sounded great. It sounded like one of these sort of little mini music festivals in the pub in North London, and we thought there'd be loads of drunk Northern Londoners there, and it'd be a really good atmosphere. So we said, yeah, we'll come and do it. And we turned up there, and it was basically just in a play park opposite the pub, and there wasn't anyone there apart from a group of 5-year-olds and maybe like a couple of parents. And the pub, like they had all the stage set up, and it was on a bit of a play park where they had this kind of concrete wall that ran the back of the play park. And we just kind of turned up, and the guy was like, right, I'm going to announce you. And we were like, well, we're here. And he was like, no, you need to go behind the wall and I'll announce you, and you have to walk back out again. So it was like, there was no one there to watch us. And they saw us walk behind the wall, and then he announced us, and we had to sort of parade out to a group of about 5 toddlers and 6-year-olds. And a lot of our songs had swear words in them, so the singer was on his best behavior and had to censor all of our songs. And we did this gig, which was, one of the most embarrassing things I've had to do.
Actually, I've got a sort of rock band related one, more awkward than embarrassment, because there was a certain element of go me. Back in the day, I played in a band, and despite the fact when you're 5'4" and a fat bastard, if you're in a band, you just attract a lot of ladies. God knows why. And I was attracted. This girl came up and chatted me up at half time, and I said, "Look, go back to that. Meet me back at the house afterwards." So she said, "Okay." And then I thought nothing of it. Thought that won't happen. So as we were packing up at the end of the gig, this other girl came up and said, "What you up to?" I said, "I'm going back to smoke a joint." She said, "Can I come?" I said, "Oh, yeah, of course." Thinking that t'other bird wouldn't. Got back to the house. Guess who's waiting there? So I'm there thinking, well, hey, threesome. No, not at all. It was a really lame onesome.
So had you forgotten you'd asked her?
No, I thought
you
she
thought
wouldn't
there's no way it's
turn
going to
up.
happen.
But the thing is, when I opened the front door and she was there, my initial reaction was game on. I honestly thought we were in. Once they started talking to each other, they both, like, you know, in olden days terms, ordered an Uber and buggered off.
Has anyone else got any embarrassing stories? Any more? Anything? No. So I think we've been chatting for 2 hours. This is going to make a brilliant 50-minute podcast. I'll tell you, it's going to be fantastic.
Well, I've got one more lame one if you want to hear that.
Yeah, go on, Adam. Yeah, does it involve lactose intolerance or
no?
Okay.
So I had a gallery showing at a local gallery, and part of the deal was that I was supposed to give this presentation. So the guy said, "Oh yeah, I'll organize it all. You just have to show up and do this presentation." So the night came for the presentation, and one person showed up. So I had to give this presentation to one person.
Oh dear!
I mean, the show must go on, eh?
You're a true professional.
It's got parallels to my gig to the play park. Yeah.
How was it though, Adam? I mean, did you throw it open to questions at the end?
Yeah. Any questions? Yes, you, sir.
Is this a lactose intolerance club meeting?
Oh dear. I think on that we'll call it a day. Listen, thank you, Adam, for coming on. Adam will never come back now after that. It's been it's been a bit of a love fest for you, Stu, isn't it? Really?
I've got a feeling.
Yeah, next time you have to
Stuart's
talk about
coming
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your questions in for Adam for next time. Why do you love Adam's work? And just ask him some
Yeah,
questions.
precisely.
Yeah,
Because it's all about me.
Yeah.
me.
No, it's been great having you on, Adam. Really, really good. And you're welcome back, seriously. Anytime.
sure,
anytime, mate.
Yeah, anytime
Thanks.
you're welcome back, definitely. But thank you ever so much for watching. I've got nothing to say, really. Competition's closed. We'll be back. Will we coming back next week? Is everyone here next week before the week before Christmas? We're going to do a Christmas one, yeah?
I'm available.
That'll go out
yeah.
Christmas Eve. So Santa hats all round, yeah? We need to wear something Christmassy, okay?
I don't think I've got anything.
Everyone got their Christmassy. Dave, you're looking a bit grinchy.
Yeah, I'll just come as the Grinch.
Yeah. So next week will be the last week before Christmas. Keep the questions coming in. Keep your comments coming in. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much again to Adam for coming on. Thank you, Stuart, for everything you do.
Yeah,
You're amazing, Stuart.
Thanks for being you.
Thanks for just existing, Stuart.
I know.
That's the only reason I came on was to meet Stuart.
just
Yeah.
Next week, by the way, we're going to be talking about our favourite YouTube videos by Stuart.
Oh God! Right.
No, thank you very much for watching the Stuart McGlennon podcast. We'll be back next week with more Stuart talk. Oh, God. The funniest thing is you could just see him getting so embarrassed by it all.
But I just thought to myself, I can't because he said don't share on the group, and then when you two shared it, I thought, well, sod it, I'm gonna just go with my gut feeling then, my gut reaction.
Dear.
Poor old Stuart.
Yeah.
No, all right. Well, all good fun, and we'll be back next week. Thank you so much for watching.
Oh, I thought we'd gone.
No, we're still here.
I was still
Is he pouring himself another
God.
whiskey?
Let him wrap it up
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Goodbye.
for my sanity.
Goodbye.
see you guys. Bye bye.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
I thought we went a couple of minutes ago.